Welcome to another edition of Question and Answer with a Criminal Defense Attorney. My name is Mark Solomon, a defense attorney in Denver, Colorado, and today's question is about solicitation of prostitution. But before we get started, don't forget to like this video and to click the subscribe button along with a little bell next to it to be notified of future videos. Let's get to the question. What is solicitation of prostitution? And to answer this, in its most basic form, it is asking someone to commit an act of prostitution. I see this most in Denver and in Aurora. This is the Denver statute. So, Section 38-158, it's under the general statute for prostitution, saying that it is unlawful for any person to solicit, induce, or entice, or otherwise engage another person for the purposes of obtaining an offer or an agreement for any act of prostitution. So, what that translates to is if you pull up on the side of the road, a person comes up to the window and says, "Do you want a date?" And you don't say, "I don't want a date." No. Or you just drive off, right? I've had clients who have been propositioned by an undercover police officer posing as a prostitute, or somebody who's been solicited by an actual prostitute, and all they did was agree so that they could drive off. But before they could get too far, the police had already pulled them over. So in other words, never agree to that sort of thing, because if somebody says, "Do you want a date?" and you say, "Sure," and they say, "Well, meet me around the corner," and then you pull off in your car, and the next thing that's going to happen potentially is you're going to get stopped and cited for this charge. So here, let's go back to the statute. The other thing that the Denver statute does, which I find interesting because I haven't seen it in any other statute, is this ABC section, which is basically saying that in the context of discussing sexual acts, evidence is legal to introduce to show that you were soliciting a prostitute, like, for example, inquiring about whether the person is a police officer, or searching for articles like a gun or a badge or something on the person or wire that would show that they are a police officer, or requesting a person to perform acts to prove that the person is not a police officer, like touching genitals or the consumption of alcohol, marijuana, or illegal substances. Those types of acts would be corroborative of your intent to solicit for prostitution. And so Denver has said in their statute that those types of things will be legal to show your intent that that's what you wanted to do, to solicit some sort of act of prostitution. So be aware of that. That was the question and answer for today. Oh, by the way, this is a follow-up. So here, this side, there should be a card up here. If you haven't watched yesterday's video on what is solicitation in general, you should probably watch that too. That is the question and answer for today. If you would like your own question answered in a future video, you could always submit it by putting in the comments, emailing it to me, or tagging me on Twitter. And as always, you have a right to remain silent. If a police officer asks you what you have, where you've been, what you know, you always have a right to say, "I don't want to talk to you," and if they persist, "I want a lawyer."